Mark Belove returned from a long trip, yearning for peace, but instead stood frozen in the shadow of his own home. On the terrace, his fiancée Lydia towered over his mother Elena, her heel pressing the older woman's hand into the floor as poisonous words poured from her lips. Lydia had scornfully remarked that her marriage to Mark was her best investment, and that Elena was nothing but a burden. Mark silently wrote down each cruel word, hiding his rage behind a calm gaze. When he finally lunged forward, holding the phone, the mask Lydia wore in public instantly shattered. What followed shifted the balance of power in ways no one could have predicted. Before we begin, write in the comments what corner of the world you are watching from today. Jet lag weighs heavily on Mark Belove's eyes as the taxi glides smoothly through the gate. The cool evening air touches the stone path. The sprinklers hiss. The garden lights twinkle like stars hidden in the hedge. He loosens his tie, rubs the bridge of his nose, and exhales. Home at last. He imagines the quiet kitchen, his mother's warm smile, Lydia's subdued laughter, the peace he has paid for. The front door resists slightly, the hinge unoiled, and he closes it carefully without a slam, without an echo. The hallway is filled with the faint scent of lemon polish and roses, soaked in the rain up to the rushing terrace. In the silence, the house comes alive, the refrigerator hums, the wall clock ticks softly, the air conditioner breathes faintly. He sets down his leather bag, straightening it out of habit, and freezes. From outside comes a faint intermittent sound, not a cry, but a suppressed sigh. He passes the dining room, touching the backs of the chairs, as if counting them. The cuff catches on the seam. He releases it with a soft click. The small details that keep him grounded in reality confirm that he is here. Through the glass doors, the light from the terrace lanterns falls in perfect rectangles on the wet stone. A sudden movement catches his eye. Two figures, one standing, the other hunched over. His heart speeds up, but he remains calm, deliberately holding back. Take your time, let the truth come out. Lydia stands on the terrace, her posture perfect, heels firmly planted on the floor, chin up, but her foot is pressing sharply against something, someone. A fragile figure, familiar. The sleeve of a blue cardigan. His mother's hand, open to the sky, like a fallen prayer. The air escapes from his chest with a soft hiss. He does not go outside. Instead, he retreats into the shadows of the curtains, leaning in to hear better. Listen first. The gardener cleared his throat nearby, too loudly. Then quieter, as if regretting his presence. Another voice, perhaps the maid's, whispers from behind the column by the barbecue. Don't interfere. One hisses, another mutters back. Their words float like guilty leaves. Mark feels the heat under his collar. He takes out his phone, his finger hovering over the screen. Not to publish, not yet, but to record the truth. Evidence prevents the mind from making excuses. Lydia's voice is low, sweet, but with a bitter edge. He doesn't catch every word, but the rhythm is recognizable, possessive, abrupt, rehearsed. His mother shifts, leaning on her elbow. Her breathing is shallow. Mark notices little things. The way Elena tucks her skirt under her knee to protect it from dirt. The way she lowers her chin, protecting her neck. The way she avoids looking at the house. She won't call him. She never has. The patio lamp flickers. A moth hits the glass. A drop falls from the awning, landing at Elena's heel. Mark suppresses the urge to burst in, to shout, to stop this. Not yet. He presses his wrist to the door wound to stop the shaking, controlling his storm. In the reflection, his head looks older than it did last week. Two neighbors walk in from the side path with a dog that avoids the wet roof. This is the bride, right? One whispers, sometimes curiously, sometimes not kindly. Money changes people, the other replies. The dog shakes water off the hydrangeas. Mark's jaw clenches, then relaxes. First the facts. He takes one breath, then another, a third, deeper and slower, until the tight thump in the crew dies down. He records the scene, the angle of Lydia's heel, the stain on her mother's sleeve, the faint mark on the stone, like dots on a map that will be needed later. When he finally reaches for the doorknob, it's not an impulse, it's a decision, measured by breath and weight and witnesses. The injustice here is alive and ordinary under the color of his own terrace lights, and he won't let it slip away. Mark doesn't rush outside. He stretches out the moment, letting his pulse follow the slow tick of the clock in the hall. Outside, Lydia's voice is sharper, cutting through the hum of the sprinklers. You don't belong here. You cling to him like the dust on his shoes. When I'm his wife, you'll know your place. The words fall like glass breaking on tile. Mark's fingers grip the door frame so tightly that the wood cuts into his skin. His mother, Elena, struggles to rise, shaking, but maintaining her dignity. Her breath whistles softly through her nose. Her chin is small, her gaze steady. Even with Lydia's heel pressing down on her hand, Mark runs his finger across the screen of his phone. 1 Kaz. Recording. The red light flickers faintly at the edge of the screen. He holds the phone tightly, capturing every poisonous word. At the corner of the terrace, the gardener shifts from foot to foot. The teeth of his rake scrape lightly against the stone. The maid whispers nearby. Her voice trembles with nervous admiration. She is cruel, she breathes. But he needs to see it. He will not forgive her. Quote. The gardener mutters back. Their gossip weaves another moment, bearing witness to the truth they wanted to hide. Lydia leans closer to Elena. Her perfume is a sharp jasmine with a metallic tint, too sweet, too heavy in the damp air. You know what he won't say? She hisses. He's tired of your sob stories, tired of dragging your shame along. He deserves better. He deserves me. Elena's lips tremble, but she says nothing. She presses her free hand to her stomach, holding the pain inside, refusing to give Lydia her tears. Mark exhales through clenched teeth, without making a sound. His memory flashes back to childhood nights in a cramped apartment, where his mother, working double shifts, taught him that respect is earned, not bought. Lydia's words cut through these memories, as if rewriting his past. Then she makes the most terrible confession. Her voice drops to a whisper, snake-like, but dressed in silk. Do you think he chose me out of love? Please. Marriage to Mark is the smartest investment of my life. As soon as I sign the papers, you will be gone. I will get the house, the money, and him, dancing to my tune. The words hang in the damp air. The neighbor's dog barks once, as if to mark a sharp point. Mark loosens his grip, then tightens his fingers again. Every fiber of his being screams at him to rush forward, but patience forges his anger into steel. He forces himself to notice the smallest details, the silver clasp of Lydia's bracelet gleaming in the light of the patio lamps, the tremor in Elena's curled wrist, the way Lydia checks her reflection in the glass door between insults, the hum of the refrigerator inside, drowning out Mark's trembling breath. He feels the edge of the marble console dig into his thigh, bringing him back to reality. Lydia finally steps back, shaking her skirt as if shaking off the dirt that dared to touch it. Elena clutches her bruised arm, trying to gather her strength. The gardener mutters again, barely audible, that if he saw this, her mask would come off. And Mark has seen enough. He clutches the phone to his chest. The screen is still glowing. His fiancée's mask has not crumbled in one dramatic moment, but has disintegrated into pieces, revealing only the cruelty beneath. With slow determination, Mark adjusts his collar, shifts his position, and places his hand on the doorknob. Not a blow yet, but one is the beginning. The son who once valued peace now sees betrayal blossoming in his own home. The air is iron, heavy with truth. Lydia's world, built on charm, teeters on the brink of collapse. The handle turns under Mark's palm. Slowly, deliberately. The glass door slides with a soft rustle, loud enough to pierce the smug confidence. Lydia shudders, her back tenses, and for the first time that evening her polished grace cracks. Mark steps into the light of the terrace. His shadow stretches across the stones, covering both women. He does not raise his voice. He doesn't need it. The silence itself has weight. Elena stirs, half sitting, trying to protect her son from worry, even as she nurses her bruises. Mark sinks beside her for a moment, supporting her elbow, checking her shallow breathing. His hand touches her wrist, warm, swollen, painful. His jaw twitches once, the muscle clenching and unclenching. Lydia takes a sharp step forward. Her voice drips with honeyed panic. Mark, she fell. I was helping her up, you don't understand. Lies are fragile, cracking in the cool night air. Mark stands, picking up the phone and tapping the screen. Lydia's voice fills the terrace, sharp and clear. "Marrying Mark is the smartest investment of my life." The recording plays. Each poisonous word echoes in the open air. The gardener freezes. The maid crosses. Beyond the hedge, the neighbors slow. One whispers, "Oh, my God," he heard it all. Mark's eyes are fixed on Lydia, calm and unblinking. His silence is more dangerous than any scream. She falters, the color draining from her face. "This is not what I meant. This is out of context." He interrupts not with words, but by gently helping her mother to her feet. Elena leans on his arm, maintaining her dignity despite the pain. The movement itself belies Lydia's flimsy excuse. No context can rewrite cruelty. Mark finally speaks, his voice is low and measured. "You thought money blinded me, but I remember every lesson my mother taught me when we had nothing. Respect is more valuable than gold. And you've just proven that you never had it." The air on the terrace goes still. Lydia makes a last desperate attempt, clutching at his sleeve. "Mark, please, you're wrong. We have a future to build." Quote. He steps back, carefully pulling his hand free with quiet precision. His voice hardens. Each word hits like a judge's gavel. "You had a future, and you buried it here with your words." From the corner of the terrace, the gardener mutters to the maid, "She's finished." The maid nods, whispering, "The truth always comes out. Always." Lydia's breath clears. Her perfect image crumbles under the weight of the witnesses. She looks from Mark to Lydia, realizing that the balance of power has changed forever. The mask she wore, flawless and shining, lies broken on the stones of the terrace. Mark, unyielding and firm, holds both the evidence and the verdict in his hands. The night air is sharper, cool against his skin, as if the house itself were holding its breath. Lydia stands rooted to the spot. Her eyes dart, but there is nowhere to hide. The recording speaks louder than any of her pleas. Mark leads his mother gently to the door. Each step is measured. Elena leans on him. Her figure is fragile, but her pride is unyielding. Behind them, Lydia's heels scrape the stone. Her voice breaks in a desperate sliver. "Mark, wait, we can fix this. Don't throw us out." He doesn't turn around. Instead, he gestures toward the house. Two uniformed guards emerge from the shadows. They have been standing at the perimeter, silent witnesses. Their eyes meet Mark's. Words are not needed. They step forward, firm, but subdued, stepping between Lydia and the woman she was trying to erase. The gardener mutters, barely audible enough for the maid to catch. "Money cannot hide cruelty forever." She nods, quietly answering. "And a mother's truth always wins." Mark pauses at the threshold, finally turning to Lydia. His voice is calm, devoid of anger, but carries the weight of a final verdict. "Every mask falls sooner or later. You thought love was a lever. Thought I was blind, but I was raised to see people as they are when no one is looking. Today I saw you." Lydia's lips tremble, the words crumbling before they can form. The guards wait patiently, as if the moment itself gives her one last chance to feel the silence she has created. "Go away," Mark says simply. No shouting, no theatrics. Just the truth in its purest form. Lydia retreats. Her confident gait gives way to trembling steps. The terra light casts her shadow, long and distorted on the stone, the force of lost power. By the next morning, rumors are flying through the city's social circles. Wedding invitations are cancelled. Investment deals tied to the Lydia family are quietly wound up. By evening, the woman who once basked in the praise of the elite is an outcast. Her fall is complete. And Elena, she is celebrated at Golovakir, organized by Mark in her honor, a charity event for single mothers. A tribute to the life she lived for him. The list of cameras illuminates her as she takes the stage next to her son. Her bruises are now hidden by elegance and pride. The outcome is clear. Wealth without respect is empty, but respect built on loyalty and love is eternal. Mark didn't just protect his mother, he restored her dignity, and in doing so, he showed her what true strength is. The story ends not with revenge, but with justice, a quiet, measured revolution where cruelty crumbles and love becomes stronger than ever. Respect is more valuable than wealth. Mark proved in that moment that he chose truth over lies, his mother's dignity over empty glitter. The terrace, once a scene of betrayal, turned into a testimony of loyalty and justice. What would you do in Mark's place? Share your thoughts in the comments. We are very interested in your opinion. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you don't miss new powerful stories that reveal the strength of the human spirit.